It's because you've been working your fellow coaches a little too hard this week.
Yeah, I had to give them a little time off. The heat was a little tough, and they worked really hard. So give them a little family time and time to go home and relax before the big game tomorrow night.
Now I know y'all start every year. I mean, it's going throughout the summer. Football is, but
Right.
you're really kicking in August 1st. But does it not seem like it's hotter and earlier this year than normal?
Well, actually for us it was July 27th this time, and thank goodness it was because school's starting so early and whatnot. But
Right.
if you don't do spring football, then you get to start a week earlier, and so we took advantage of that. We had a bunch of players in other sports, a bunch of coaches in other sports, and so we took advantage of the 2-hour rule the last 10 weeks to make sure we did the things that we needed to do on top of working out, and then had a great summer. I mean, it's been the best June and July that we've had since I've been here from what we got accomplished standpoint, the work our guys put in standpoint. So it's been really good.
Now, starting off, you had the jamboree. Well, you had the Meet the Bikes.
Yeah,
Big crowd showed up for it too.
absolutely. Yeah,
Just for a scrimmage.
nothing like Jasper Viking fans, man.
That's right.
We have the best fans in the state.
And then we go to a jamboree game last week against Hueytown where you weren't keeping score, but we were keeping score up there in the press box. And if I'm not mistaken, it was 21-0 good guys to start with.
Well, we were playing good early, and they've got a bunch of young kids, and it was a good lesson for our guys. I think we kind of lost focus a little bit, and and that happens sometimes, and we've got some really good players, and it was their first time being under the lights, being in front of the crowd. I mean, playing somebody different. Obviously, we have Meet the Vikes. And I thought we lost a little bit of focus at times. It wasn't an athletic ability thing or can't do thing. I mean, I just thought just a knowledge and being out there and, understanding that you can't ever relax.
Right.
You can't ever relax until when the final horn goes off, then we'll run to the locker room, get on the bus, and relax.
Yeah, you don't take that foot off the pedal.
No, not at all. And so, but it was a lot of positive. I mean, I thought early on, minus a little hiccup on a snap early on, I thought offensively we were sharp. The offensive line was physical, and we threw the ball as well as we thrown it. Ran the ball extremely well. Defensively, I thought we were lights out against the run early on. Well, we were lights out against the run really all night. I mean, gave up some balls, that are just kind of like, better than that, type deal. And so, we'll live and learn and move on and keep trying to get better.
And I know Hueytown's got a young team, but they're still a team that they've been in the playoffs 7 or 8 years in a row.
Yeah, they were pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some guys that could run around, and
their quarterback really impressed me.
Quarterback was good, threw some good balls, threw the deep ball really, really well, and they had some guys that could go get it. So it was a good test for our guys. I mean, it really was. They are young. They've lost some guys, we were down some guys, so it was good. I mean, any way you slice it up, the big thing is we came out of it without any injuries, and that's really what you hope for. Is you hope you go into a jamboree and get better as a team and iron out some wrinkles and nobody gets hurt. So that was we're fortunate that all those worked out.
Anybody in particular show you something that you didn't expect, maybe, or good or bad?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was what I expected, what we as a coaching staff really expected. I mean, the things that were really, really good, we kind of thought were going to be really good, and the things that were like, yeah, we're going to have to learn that the hard way, we're going to have to shine that up, and those were some of the things that kind of stood out.
Right.
So.
You had me and Woody and Jonathan Timmons up in the press box, and Timmons is on the air with us now tonight. He's just not happened to be here physically. Timmons, you got any questions for Coach from the Jamboree game?
Hey, Coach. Sorry I'm not with you there tonight.
No worries at all. No worries at all.
Got about 5 plates in the air right now,
I understand.
But it was a good scrimmage or a jamboree last Friday night. Enjoyed it, especially coming out of the little interview you did at the Rotary Club on Tuesday.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I thought everything you said there kind of played out like you had kind of preluded to on the field. So
right.
yeah, just back to what I guess James did already ask it, but I'll hit it again. Was there any young players you did see stand out? You mentioned that there's a lot of young players on this roster. Anybody, or just a group altogether?
Really young guys. I was happy with the group overall. I thought we had a couple of freshmen that I thought really did some good things. Couple of sophomores, that are going to have to step up and fill in. And, it was new for all of us. It was an adjustment for all of us. I think I had coached a majority of our team for the last 3 years. I mean, they were there as 10th graders, and then they were back as juniors, and then they were back last year as seniors. And so we finally got kind of like a real high school team that actually graduates a whole bunch of guys that have been playing a bunch of football. And so, it was an adjustment, and that's one of the great parts about a jamboree is they all got to, go through a different type of pregame where all of a sudden, some of those guys that have been a staple in our program for 3 years, they weren't there anymore, and it wasn't up to this guy to lead the way or this guy to make the play or this guy to do this. They had to step up. And so that's going to be a growth for our team, and we've got a bunch of good leaders back, all of them I've coached since they were 9th graders and they were playing, and so it was really good. It was a good experience. It was a good learning curve for us, and and hopefully we press forward and address some of the things that were happening.
Well, and with the jamboree game, a lot of times you see some boneheaded things out of guys who hadn't been out there a lot, and there wasn't really any of that.
No, it was really more stuff like there's 12 seconds left in the half. How do you let somebody behind you? Well, that's a kid that's never been out there in that situation, and you practice it, and you have those situations in practice, but it's a whole lot different when people are out there and the fans are screaming and it's somebody else.
Yeah.
One time we had a deal where it was cover, and so we thought the play must be over. And we stopped and started looking in the backfield, and the guy scrambled, drilled us, and took off. And once again, wasn't an athletic thing, wasn't a kid not trying hard thing, just a lesson.
Yeah, wasn't even being out of position. Really.
Really not. Just a lesson of you play till the whistle, where bad things happen. And so I think, but I think we learn from that. And again, that's why you play a jamboree, is to put as many of those players as you can in a situation they've never been in.
Right.
And there were several guys that were out, and we even started moving positions around. We're trying to create some depth and find some guys that are going to be able to give us some snaps as the season goes along, because it's a long season. And then you've got guys that are over on the side that what they can do.
Right.
And so you're trying. Well, if we're going to put a kid out there, let's let it count for a win or loss, not a jamboree, and it's a great time to put other guys out there and let them get their feet wet and see what they can do and learn some hard lessons. And hopefully we did, and we'll keep moving forward.
When you mentioned the first snap of the game was kind of a bad snap.
Yeah.
And I told Woody, I said, that's not the way you want to start it. But Oliver did a great job of handling it and just making something out of it.
Yeah, and Keith just got moved over to center probably 2 weeks maybe ago, and has done a phenomenal job and slid right in there and moved from his guard position. It was kind of a flip-flop, right there. And both of those guys seem to be more at home and more natural and really doing some good things. So I think that was a really good move.
Now, you mentioned finding some depth, and that may be the one thing here at the start of the season. I know we mentioned it a lot of times. it's not the largest roster in the world.
It's not.
So if the injury bug bites, there needs to be some depth found somewhere. I
Yeah,
guess.
it's not. It's 65 is what we have, 9 through 12, and I'll tell you, we really thought that this was going to be the year. We kind of pumped up there to the mid 70s, upper 70s, and it just didn't work out. I mean, kids have a lot going on, and they want to work and they want to do things, but to be a Jasper Viking, you're going to do it the right way, and you're going to do it our way, and you're going to show up.
Yeah.
And we're not going to cut corners on that.
I saw the sophomore class was the smallest. I think there was only 15.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't even think there's 15. I think you miscounted. I think you miscounted.
I just wondered, was there not any power outages that year? Or did the cable not go off?
Man, I know.
Didn't have to find something to do?
I do not know. I mean, but now it's a great class, a very talented class. And I think it's going to be fine because the second biggest class we have are the juniors, and they're a very talented group of players. And then the biggest class that we have on the whole team are the freshmen.
I saw that, yeah.
And they are, there's a lot of really, really good players in that class, so.
And I've been told by a lot of people the groups that are following those freshmen, even all the way back to kindergarten now, are just growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how far down that all this growth goes. I know I was fortunate to get to go to the junior high game the other night and watch the future, and there were a lot of great players out there running around. So future looks bright, know, and we're gonna go to war Friday night with the guys we got and the guys that've done it right, and just try and be the best version of Jasper that we can be, and then we'll live with whatever's on scoreboard after that.
Definitely so. Coach, let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsors, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes on the Jasper Discount Auto Parts and Crawfish Warehouse David Reeves Show. We'll be right back on WJLX. Hit by lightning 2 days ago. Everything went out. Timmons got it fixed today, and then we changed a bunch of stuff with how we were doing this and how we were doing games, and so today's kind of the first day of all of it.
Just glad y'all do it. Happy to be here.
We have a lot of fun doing it, for sure. Do you want to talk? We'll go into talking about Huntsville some when we come back. Do you want to talk about any of y'all's injuries or anything, or I didn't think so. So what's McCollum's situation?
Surgery now.
Is he? Is there any way he could be back by the end of the year? I don't think so. Is it ACL?
It's
Oh man.
and it was non-contact.
Yeah, I saw the video of it.
Yeah.
I tore my ACL and MCL when I was 24 playing church league ball, and that was a terrible injury.
One of my old players.
Oh, there you go.
UAB, so. But yeah, boy, I tell you what a horrible thing to happen to such a great kid.
Yeah, yeah.
He worked so hard to put himself in this position. Really, the only returning starter in the second.
That's what because you only had, what was it, like 4 on defense to begin with? 4 or 5, maybe.
Starters.
Yeah. I think I remember Woody telling me you had 2 on offense. Right?
Yeah, so it's, but you know what, that happens. You graduate guys.
Yeah. Well, y'all got a lot of players playing time last year.
Yeah, and if
too.
you've done a good enough job developing, and just plug in and go. So.
Yeah. It should be this headset right now, so I'll know when we're back. Hey, Timmons, can you hear me? Timmons, can you hear me? Timmons, can you hear me? And
Jonathan Timmons live in studio. There you go. You got it. I was afraid you didn't get the message. So
I did
was
get
just
the
gonna bring
message,
it
but
right back in.
I couldn't hear you in the headset, or I couldn't hear the commercials either.
Right on, right on. Oh no, well, like you said, we're just working through our.
That's right.
This is almost like our jamboree for the Coach Reeves show this tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Well, looking forward, I did have a question, to set up this next segment here. Looking forward to this Friday night, going up to Huntsville.
Yeah,
Coach, Huntsville played Florence in their jamboree. Your first two opponents.
yeah,
What do you see there?
they were both really, really good. I didn't look at Florence as much because we're playing Huntsville. I know they were 7-3 last year in 7A, and just wound up losing the wrong game, keeping them out of the playoffs, and so Coach Gay has done a really, really good job. Their staff has done a really good job, and boy, they are huge. They are huge up front, and so both sides of the ball. So it's going to be a big challenge. I mean, we're excited about it. I enjoy going to Milton Frank Stadium. I mean, that's a stadium that I grew up going to as a little kid. Lived probably 5 minutes from there, and so I'm excited about it. I'm not excited about how big they are. I'm not excited about that, but I am excited about the challenge. And again, I know the job that Coach Gay and his staff has done getting them ready, and so they've got some very talented players.
Tim, you got anything else there?
No, go ahead, James.
Yeah, you talk about their size, and that's what I noticed looking over the roster yesterday. I talked to Coach Gay on the phone. I told you before we came on the air, we go way back to my high school years. He was a coach and teacher at Dora High School, and then I covered him throughout his time at Parrish and Cordova in those years.
Right.
But he was even talking about his team is big. They got a lot of size. They're 7A school, and Milton Frank's a big stadium to be.
Yeah, it's a Huntsville Stadium. I mean, Jimmy's had a great career, and I've been fortunate to meet him on 3 or 4 occasions. I know there's a big Walker County connection there. I know he did some years at Jasper.
Yeah, he did some years at Jasper too.
And him and Dusty for sure coached together, and so it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun when you get to coach against people that or where there's tie-in to the schools and whatnot, and so it should be an exciting night. I know we're going to have to be at our best.
Now, with talking about the size that they have, offensive line looked strong last week against Hueytown, but definitely going to be undersized in this matchup.
Yeah, the offensive line, we graduated some good ones, but we brought some good ones back, and Coach Matchin's done a good job at developing some of the other guys, and unfortunately we got a little nicked up early on in the summer right there, and so some of those guys got an extra amount of reps and extra amount of work, and you can really see it paying dividends right now. That's kind of where we are as a football team. Is all the coaches. You see them in practice, and you get a sense of what they're trying to do, and it's to develop and build depth, but not for the future. For right now, we're going to have some depth. I mean, football's a long season, and almost always, as many seasons as I've ever coached, it always gets down to that 2 or that 2.5 is going to have to step up at some point and get it done for you, and so. It's been a big push for us.
Now, where do they sit as far as skill position goes?
Got some talented backs. They made some really, really big runs against Florence the other night. The quarterback is a big kid. I mean, he's big, got a good arm, good legs. Seen him do some stuff, and he's got some guys to throw it to. Defensively, they're very big and physical up front, really aggressive. 2 inside linebackers that are big, physical, explosive kids, and then their secondary. It's tough to get them out of position here at night. I mean, I saw Florence trying to do some things to them, but they were always where they need to be, doing what they were supposed to be doing. So it's a good football team. Hard to get a read on the special team special teams that they have just because it was a jamboree and it was kind of like ours, a dead type deal. But, you know, if I know Coach Gay and his staff, I'm sure they're going to be outstanding on special teams.
Yeah, and that's one area where you guys really shine a lot of times is on special teams. And with a ninth grade kicker now, a 10th grade kicker, that's going to be a good thing for
Well, we hope so. You know, I mean, you got to do all the other stuff that goes along with that. But he's kicked it really good. I think even Oliver is surprised at how much stronger his legs gotten. But it's not surprising to me because he works extremely hard.
that first punt that he let off in the jamboree game. I told Woody, I said, man, he's really stretched that leg out.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it was good. I mean, he caught that thing flush. You know, so but you know, we're going to have to protect for him to get off kicks like that, and so we'll see.
the guy that, and you may not replace him, he may still be out there on special teams, Zion Koger.
Yeah, you know, Zion made about 70% of our tackles on kickoff and punt, and so. Yeah, you know, he's still there, and hopefully we can find some spots to give him a little rest, you know, as his role changes, you know, into the workhorse. Him and CJ, you know, carrying the ball. You know, we're just going to have to be smart about it, and you know, it's going to take a couple of games right here to really figure out where the sweet spot is. You know, this is what we can do,
Right.
and not just, you know, burn a guy up, or this is what we can do. And so, but that's all part of coaching. You know, we've got a great staff, great men on our staff, and I'm sure, you know, I know for a fact that they're working every day trying to figure out what that right formula is.
Now, Woody told me that he had talked to offense coordinator who said that if his mathematics are correct, 98% of last year's offense is no longer there, either through graduation or transfer.
Boy, I tell you, I think that would probably be a little bit high, but you know,
even if you're talking close to that number,
we
that's
graduate
a
a bunch. Yeah, I mean, anything over 50% is going to be a lot, and I'm sure we did that. You know, we had a group of receivers where the core of them have been playing since 10th grade. You know, and they were hardened and you know, molded with fire, if you will, you know, and they really provide us a lot, you know, and then obviously Makai down the road playing college football now, big yards there. I mean, I know Zion rushed for some really good numbers last year. CJ rushed for some really good numbers because he was playing so much on defense, but there's a lot that you know, there ain't no shining it up any other way. I mean, it is what it is, but that happens. That happens in football at every level. I mean, great players come along and they develop, and then they move on. And you know, hopefully you've done a great job at developing the guys that were there, you know, waiting in the wings, you know. And so the guys have worked extremely hard in the weight room. I'll say we walked a lot of offense out, but it's the strongest football team we've had.
Yeah.
You know, just numbers wise, in the 3 years.
Well, that's
fourth year now that I've been here. So.
Our compadre Nick Norris was talking about how strong the team overall is.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good, and that's part of it now. I mean, you can do all the other things good, but if you don't have, you know, the strength to match, you know, your knowledge, then it's gonna be a long night.
Right.
You know, so and us being a little undersized, we're gonna have to be, you know, extra strong. And so they've had a great, like I said, it was a really good summer, really good off season in the weight room, really good summer in the weight room, really good summer football wise, and it was a good camp. So we just got to put it out there and just kind of get it all gelled together.
We got just a couple minutes left, and I do want you to mention your coaching staff. You talked about receivers, and is there a coaching staff in America that has two better receiver coaches than what you got right now?
Yeah, with Coach Pro and Coach Currington, they do a fantastic job. You know, we're lucky to have them. I always do this, so you're going to have to count. That's two of them I talked about. They're fantastic.
Right.
Coach Houghton is back as the OC.
You don't really like him.
Doing an amazing job. Coach Matchin doing our offensive line, and boy, he's really brought those guys along. Coach Good, obviously his reputation precedes him. He's a fantastic football coach that's coached a lot of really, really good games in his career. We talked about Coach Wilder being back and just having. It was really nice this year. He's got more of a grasp on what we're doing in the terminology and all that. So he's really started to assert himself. Coach Harding is back with the secondary again, and he just gets better as a young coach every year. Added Andrew Dickerson, who is a Walker County native. We were lucky to get Andrew and his family from Clay Chalkville, and his career has been at a bunch of good places. We spent some time at Thompson and Hewitt Trustful, and then Dothan, I think, down south. Coach Walls is back with the running backs again, and then it's always great to have two more Jasper legends. You talk about Antoine and Coach Currington, but to have Coach Mercer and Coach Oliver back is really good.
Yeah.
Is that 12?
I think that's right.
That's 12. And I'll tell you, man, and another little young man stumbled in, Chase Thompson, is helping us out. And he's just kind of catch all, do all, coach this day, help this coach that day. And so it's a really good staff. And, as long as you got Joe running the show down there, everything's going to be smooth. Right. So it's all really been good.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Absolutely. I'm glad y'all do this. It's great to talk about our program and our kids, and all the work they put in.
The important thing now is for people to either travel to Huntsville tomorrow night to root on the Vikings, or they can watch and listen on WJLX.
Heck yeah, it's an easy drive, nice and easy down there to get to the stadium. I know our people to show up, and we've got some of the best fans in high school football, and so. We just got to play a hard physical game and protect the football. And, like I said, as long as we play hard, we'll live with what's on the scoreboard. So, as always, go Vikes.
All right, go Vikes. And, hey, now it's time. Switch over at 7 o'clock. Switch over to our sister station.
Hey, James.
Yes.
I got a hot program edit we're going to do. We're going to join the WJBE broadcast in progress, and we will go live to Oakman, Alabama, to listen to that one.
There you
Cordova,
go.
Oakman.
Well, we're going to have Cordova and Oakman here on WJLX and on WJBE, so stay where you're at. It'll be on the dial. It'll be on Facebook. It'll be on YouTube. Go check it out at all those places. And then tomorrow night, it'll be WJBE's got a Wallwin game of the week with Curry hosting Meek, and myself and Woody Wilson will be traveling to Huntsville to see the Vikings take care of the Huntsville team tomorrow night. So thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow on WJLX.